Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Today we'll start chapter 2. Please repeat verse number 1. Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Tam tatha kripayavishtam.
Tam tatha kripayavishtam.
Ashrupurna kulekshanam.
Ashrupurna kulekshanam.
Vishidantamidam vakyam.
Vishidantamidam vakyam.
Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
Start with Raghav.
Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words.
Okay. Let us offer prayers actually. We should have. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swabdantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhantamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitnamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So, in the previous chapter, what happened is Arjun, he left his Gandiva and he sat down. You know what is Gandiva?
His bow.
His bow. He left it and he sat down on his chariot. He was crying and he was saying, I can't fight. And he gave all these reasons which we discussed why he doesn't want to fight. Can you name some of those reasons? Anyone?
Because it's his own family, he doesn't want to kill his own brothers and whatever, your own family. So I think
Good.
that's one of the reasons.
Good. Anything else?
He thought like society would be ruined by it and future generations.
Sorry?
He thought society would be ruined by it because future generations would be like wouldn't have proper families and they would be like sinful, like unwanted progeny.
Right. Right. There will be unwanted progeny and that will ruin the society. Yes. Anything else?
Yeah, he also didn't want to enjoy, I think, all these kingdoms and all these whatever the Duryodhana side, all those places they were ruling. He didn't want to have so many things to rule because he thought that I don't need all these material things.
Okay. So yes, he was detached, but at the same time. But the reason why he didn't want to fight was because he didn't want to kill and he felt it was sinful. He wanted to forgive and he felt that the elders are killed, then there will be then dharma. There will be no one to teach dharma. Correct. That's what he felt. Then that way there will be adharma. People will not be trained. The future generations will not be trained, as you pointed out. And then. In this way, he didn't want to kill the elders. That's another reason. So now again, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Right? Would you like to read the purport?
Material compassion, lamentation and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Sushudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment of fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self.
What do you understand from this verse? What are the main points in the purport that Prabhupada is pointing out?
Arjuna's distress was for the body and not the soul, so it was misplaced.
Compassion is misplaced. The second line itself states, compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. Right? So, and then you can say, a man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. So if a person is drowning in the river and you save him, you go and try to save him, and you bring his coat, right? Or you bring his shirt and say, oh, I saved him. No, you have to save the person. Similarly, the soul, the body is just like a dress. So, compassion to the body is not real compassion. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, there is Mr. Malhotra. You know Mr. Malhotra? Okay. You know Mr. Birla? You know Birla, right? Birla family? Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's not bad if you don't know. In India, they are like one of the richest families, Birla family. Okay. So, this person is actually a close relative of Birla. And he asked Srila Prabhupada, why do you build all these costly temples, big temples for Krishna? Why don't you open hospitals, do something for the poor, needy, do some philanthropic work, give food to the hungry, give clothing, open hospitals, schools, and in that way do some social service. And serving the poor people, the needy people, is that not more important than building temples for Krishna? It sounds like a very valid and a very reasonable proposition. Right? But Prabhupada said, it's like this. You are the relative of Birla, right? So if you find the son of Birla, small child, very too small to even talk or reason, if he gets lost, right? If he is missing, and he just is loitering around, and he doesn't have food, he doesn't have clothing, he's like in very bad shape, right? And you happen to see that boy. What are you going to do to him? You're going to give him food? Are you going to give him clothing? Right? Are you going to give him nice beds or give him some money? Or are you going to take that person to his father? What are you going to do?
Take him to his
Exactly. So that's what he said. So then, we are all children of God. And the reason why we are suffering is not because of lack of money or lack of food or lack of health care or whatever, right? Even if you give them food, again he'll be hungry after some time, right? Even if you solve the problems, like if you give that child food, he's going to be hungry again. But if you take him to his father, right, he's going to solve all the problems permanently. It's the root cause of all of it. Similarly, we are not suffering because we don't have food or we don't have clothing or any of these things. These are all temporary things. And even if you gave those things to the needy, that happiness is temporary. Right? Again, the problems will reappear. So, and you can never really solve the problems from the root. Right? If you want to solve a problem, you have to uproot it, not just if you go to a field, you have the weeds, right? Weeds growing in the field. What do? You cut them from above? If you cut the weeds, what happens?
Grow back.
They'll grow back. What do you do? What are you supposed to do?
You take the root.
You should uproot it with all the roots, right? Similarly, the problems like feeding the poor. This is like cutting the external symptoms. But the problem, the root cause of the problem is not. The root cause of the problem is that we forgot Krishna. And to remind people of their relationship with Krishna is the way you actually uproot the problem. And you solve it permanently. Right? So that's the best social service. To give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to everyone. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. And these temples are meant for that. Originally, temples are not meant for just, like nowadays people, just go have darshan, look at the deity, and then they ring the bell and then go away. But that's not the purpose of a temple. Purpose of a temple is actually to gain knowledge.
Improve you.
Seriously.
To improve you as a person every time you go there, inspire you.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like previously the temples were monasteries. They were taught Vedas and scriptures. And there were lectures going on. There were programs. There were satsang programs. All this. That's where you learn. It's supposed to be like a school, right? But that's not. So that's the purpose of these temples. Prabhupada said, right? That really solves the problem. But at the same time, you also need to. If there's a hungry man and if you tell him to read Bhagavad Gita, he's not going to listen to you. So you give him some food, some prasadam, and then you tell him to read Gita. So yes, you need to take care of the body also. But the purpose of taking care of the body should be so that you can help the soul connect with Krishna. Right? Yes, we have to connect the soul to Krishna, but then to help that person reach that point, you may have to also cater to his other needs. Right? So that's why, we also distribute prasadam. We also have hospitals. We have Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Bombay. Right? But that's not the ultimate goal. Right? So that's the point. Why are we talking about this now? Yeah, so Arjuna's compassion is misplaced because it's to the body. Right? So that's what Krishna is saying. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of real self.
But wasn't Arjuna also worried about future generations losing their morality and stuff and being corrupted? So was he he wasn't just worried about the body, right? He was also worried about people's spiritual life getting ruined because of not having parents and all that. Right? Was that a concern of his?
Right, good question. Right, so Arjun also was definitely concerned about the soul. But the thing is, he was initially, his primary concern is that, I don't want to kill these relatives. Right? That's also one of the concerns, but he's also attached on a physical level. Right? So Krishna is actually talking about that. Right? There are six different reasons that are described, that are given by Arjuna why he doesn't want to fight. But Krishna is refuting those reasons, but one by one. First he's going to refute why that you're not killing them First of all, you can't kill them because they are not the bodies. And then one by one, he is actually going to address, because we're going to see in the coming verses and in the next few chapters also, Krishna is going to address each one of those reasons separately. Right? But the first thing that Krishna is repeating here is his conception that we are killing them. We are not killing anyone. Right? That's the first thing.
And so the problem is when you say he's attached, that means he's attached to, he's worried about other people's bodies, not his own body. Because he's worried, like if he doesn't want to kill them because he's worried about their bodies. But he doesn't care about his body.
Yeah, but it's still about the bodies. Others' bodies or your body, it's still about the body, right?
Yeah.
It's Prabhupada calls it extended sense gratification. Some people are ready to die.
But he's not fighting because he's scared he will die. He's fighting because he's scared he'll kill the other people.
And commit a sin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people are even ready to die for their country's sake.
Yeah.
Or for their family's sake or for someone else's sake. Right?
Yeah.
But even that is material. Because it is still related to the body.
But yeah.
It is not related to the soul.
Yeah.
That's what Krishna is pointing out. Of course, Arjuna is not worried about his body, that's obvious. But even his being worried about others' bodies is also not appropriate, according to this verse. Right? Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Second verse. Please repeat. Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Kutastvakashmalamidam
Kutastvakashmalamidam
Vishame samupasthitam
Vishame samupasthitam
Anaryajushtamaspvargyam
Anaryajushtamaspvargyam
Akirtikaram Arjuna
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all benefiting a man who knows the values of life. Befitting a man who knows the values of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy."
Okay. Kutah means from where? Kashmalam means the dirt. Where has this come? Vishame samupasthitam. This has come at such a dire moment. It's not like if you would have asked me at leisure, then I would have answered leisure. But now you are supposed to fight, and it's like you are in the exam hall and you are asking, why should I write the exam? And then that's not the time to ask that question. So it's like that, So Krishna is saying that Anaryajishtam, this doesn't befit Aryas. You know who are Aryas? Aryans?
Yes, Aryans and Dravidians.
That's not how we define Aryans in terms of race. Who are Aryans? According to the Vedas,
Those who follow Varnashram or in the society.
Aryans are those who follow Varnashram, which means more specifically, Aryans are those who know spiritual values of life. It's not a race. Anyone, irrespective of your race, who knows, who is aware of spiritual values, like is an Aryan, right? And this whole theory of Aryans and Dravidians, it's all bogus. Actually, the whole Bharatvarsha is Aryan. It's not like North Indians are Aryans and South Indians are Dravidians.
That's just the only thing I've heard. That's the only.
That's what they used to teach in schools. But actually, according to the Vedas, what is the definition of Aryans? Prabhupada writes, you can see that.
What? Yeah.
In the
1 second.
Anaryajishtam. See, Anarya, persons who do not know the value of life. That is the word for word meaning Prabhupada says. Jishtam is practiced by. Aswargyam does not lead to higher planets. So those who are spiritually advanced, they don't do this.
Yeah.
Right? Aswargyam means doesn't lead to higher planets. Akirtikaram means doesn't give you good name. Gives you bad name. Right? So now Prabhupada of course writes a very elaborate purport. You know what? The very first word on the top of this verse, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Right? It is not said Krishna Vacha, it is said Bhagavan Vacha.
Vishnu.
When Arjun spoke, it said Arjuna Vacha.
Yeah.
Sanjay spoke, Sanjay Vacha. But when Krishna spoke, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Bhagavan means the Supreme Lord. So this word Bhagavan has been used. Right? It doesn't say just Krishna. So this is to say that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Got it.
I have a question. Isn't Krishna an incarnation of Vishnu?
Good question.
And Vishnu is the Supreme Personality.
Right. Well, actually, according to the Bhagavatam,
Right.
Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Bharat is the original. Right? Krishna is not an incarnation. He is not avatar, he is avatari. That means all the incarnations come from Krishna.
Okay.
But this is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because first we should understand that the different forms of Krishna, they are all eternal. Sometimes we think that Rama came at a certain time, right? Lord Rama.
Uh-huh.
And then Krishna came at a certain time. Narsimha came at a certain time. Right? And then they are gone. But that is not correct. Actually, all these forms are always existing. Right? And time to time they appear in this world and then they disappear. Right? So Lord Ram also appeared many, many times.
Okay.
Krishna also appeared many, many times. Right? So it's the time in the Vedic, according to the Vedic understanding, time goes in a cyclic fashion. It's not linear. Right? So time is cyclic, which means you have the 4 yugas, they go in a circle. They go in as in a cycle. Right? After Kali Yuga, again you get Satya Yuga. Right? So these incarnations keep coming again and again. But these incarnations are coming to this world, but they are in the spiritual world always.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right? In the spiritual world, there is a planet called Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna is always existing, always there with his eternal associates. And there is also Ayodhya in the spiritual world. There Lord Ram is always existing. Right? So all these different forms of Vishnu are eternally existing.
Is there Narasimha?
Yes, also.
What would that be like?
Where will that be?
Like Rama is Ayodhya, but like Narasimha is like...
One of the Vaikuntha planets.
Oh, okay.
These are all Vaikuntha planets. There are unlimited Vaikuntha planets.
Well, the different incarnations of Vishnu.
Different forms.
Different forms.
The Lord exists in a different form in each Vaikuntha. Right?
Yeah.
In one Vaikuntha he is Narasimha, in another Vaikuntha he is Varaha. Different Vaikuntha planets have different forms. And with all his associates and devotees. Right? They are eternally existing. So now which is first? There is no first and last because they are all eternal. Right? But then why is still Krishna considered the original? Because all the qualities exhibited by Krishna are more than those exhibited by Narayana. That's actually, if I have to answer your question, I'll take another half an hour, but then I don't want to elaborate it. But then your question will not be answered. So in short, I'll try to answer as short as I can. See, the thing is, what the original aspect of God is that He is the enjoyer. He has loving relationships with His devotees. Right? But the aspect of God that is maintaining the universe is secondary. Right? Okay, if I have to make it more clear, let me give you an example. If a person is doing his official work, say if there is a high court judge, he goes to court and he gives judgments. Right? But he also goes to his home and he enjoys with his family. Which is closer to his heart?
Family.
Right? So he's doing his official work, but then his complete personality is revealed at home.
Yeah.
not at the office.
Yeah.
Right? So similarly, when God is enjoying with his devotees, when God is at home enjoying with his devotees, that is Krishna.
Yeah.
But when he's doing his management, universal management, that is Vishnu. Right? The official form of God is Vishnu. Whereas the personal form, where he's just reciprocating love with his devotees, that is Krishna. Right? That's why those who worship Vishnu, they are all in the mood of servant.
Yeah.
Right? They consider Vishnu as the master and themselves as servant. Right? But with Krishna,
Friends.
some love Krishna as a friend, some love Krishna as a child, some love Krishna as a parent, and some even love Krishna as a husband or a lover. These are the 5 different rasas, as they technically call: Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and Shanta.
The highest is mother, right?
No, the highest is conjugal love.
Oh, that makes sense.
Lovers.
That's Madhurya, right?
Madhurya.
And mother is second then.
Yes. So the point is that, so all these, you can love Krishna in all these rasas.
Yeah.
But whereas Vishnu or Narayan, you cannot have, Vishnu doesn't have friends. Vishnu doesn't have, he only has 3 wives, 2 or 3 wives, and nobody else can be a wife of Vishnu. You cannot be a friend of Vishnu, you cannot be a parent of Vishnu. Vishnu has no parents. Everyone can only be a servant. So, in terms of love, loving relationships and loving reciprocation,
Yeah.
Krishna is doing it completely. That's why he is therefore Rasaraj. Right? Like, I like to give this example. You know Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Yes.
He is the founder of Facebook. Okay, being the founder of Facebook is his identity, one of his identities. But is that his complete personality?
No.
No, because he existed even before he founded Facebook, right? And even if tomorrow the Facebook thing gets,
Overtaken.
overtaken or goes down and nobody uses it anymore, I hope that doesn't happen. But even if that happens, he still is going to exist. So his personality is beyond Facebook. Facebook is only one aspect of his personality. Correct? Similarly, God, being the creator and maintainer of the universe, is one aspect of God, but that's not the whole aspect of God. Even before the creation and even after that destruction, God is still there. So he has a personality which is separate from the creation. And that personality, in his original personality, what does he do? He exchanges love with his devotees. And that particular form is Krishna. And that's why Krishna is considered to be the complete. Whereas Vishnu is in relation to the world, to the material world. He is the maintainer of what? Of the material world. Right? So it's in relation to this material world. But whereas Krishna's personality has nothing to do with the material world. He is eternally enjoying with his devotees. Correct?
So I have a question. So does Krishna have a soul?
There is no difference between the body and soul of God. Krishna's
But-
body is not a material body.
So is Krishna's soul equal to Vishnu's soul, or is there some difference? Are they different entities? I mean, from what you described, I think they're the same entity, but...
Good question. There's actually, first we should understand that there's no such thing as body and soul for God.
Yes, that makes sense.
Because his form is Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is made of eternity, knowledge and bliss. So that is his eternal form. Because which never gets old, which never dies. Right? And there's no difference between body and soul for him, as it is with us. And even when we go back to the spiritual world, our original form is revealed. The soul also has an original form.
Yes.
Right? So that form is not different from us, because that is the soul. You understand? In the spiritual world, there is no difference between body and soul. Correct? Because there is no matter over there. There is nothing material over there. Everything is spiritual.
Yeah.
So therefore, there is no difference between body and soul. And whereas Vishnu and Krishna are not two separate personalities. In fact, Vishnu, Rama, Krishna, all these are the same person, but different aspects of the same person. Like the same person, when he's at home, he dresses differently, he behaves differently. But when he goes to the court and sits on that thing giving judgments, he dresses differently, his demeanor is different. But there are two different persons. Is the same person, his personality is understood or seen in a different way at a certain place and in certain context. And in a different context, the same person is seen in a different way. Right?
Okay, but the real God is Krishna. Like Krishna is God at home, and Vishnu is God at work.
Exactly.
Okay.
But they're not two different persons. That's my point.
Yes.
They are the
Same
same
thing.
person.
Okay.
So it's worshipping the same thing.
Yes, you are exactly worshipping the same person. It's just different features. He's exhibiting certain qualities as Krishna, and he's exhibiting certain other qualities as Vishnu. But they are not two different persons. They are the same person.
So Krishna is a
So
more
those who are
personal-
worshipping Vishnu and those who are worshipping Krishna are actually worshipping the same person.
Yeah.
So they're all Vaishnavas, right?
Yeah.
And they all have an eternal relationship. But everyone has an eternal relationship with one particular form, right? We all have an eternal relationship. Some are eternally related to Ram, some are eternally related to Krishna, some are eternally related to Vishnu, or some are related to some other form of Vishnu. But we all have an eternal relationship with the Lord. Right? So that is an answer to your question. So if you ask questions, then we can't really move ahead so much. Okay, this is very important. The second paragraph, I'd like someone to read the Rishabh, you want to read?
So it's Krishna and the Supreme.
65 from the beginning. Page 65.
Page 65. Okay. These three divine aspects.
Yes.
These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects.
Oh, I think you should read the last three lines of the previous page.
Okay. The absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such phases of the absolute truth are expressive: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely the sunshine, the sun's surface, and the sun planet itself. One who studies the sunshine only is the preliminary student. One who understands the sun's surface is further advanced, and one who can enter the sun planet is the highest. Ordinary students who are satisfied with simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness, and the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature, may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman force of the absolute truth. The student who has advanced still further can know the sun disk, which is compared to knowledge of the Paramatma feature of the absolute truth. And the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the supreme absolute truth. Therefore, the bhaktas, or the transcendentalists who have realized the Bhagwan feature of the absolute truth, are the topmost transcendentalists. Although all students who are engaged in the study of the absolute truth